All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 357 Magnum versus 10mm test. Today we have a couple Sig V-Crowns to try out. So for the 357 Magnum, that one is the 125 grain V-Crown. There's what that one looks like. Does have your nickel-plated brass, and that one's rated at 1,450 feet per second. And for our 10mm, that one is our 180 grain V-Crown. Has that same nickel-plated brass, and it's rated at 1,250 feet per second. So we'll see how close we come today. So for our 357 Magnum, we will be using our Ruger Security 6. That one does have a 4-inch barrel. And for our 10mm, we'll be using our Rock Island Ultra FS, and that one does have that 5-inch barrel. Actual barrel travel or bullet travel is about 3 3/4 inches, so pretty close. So we'll be going through our gel. It is a 10% block. Do have our catch block behind that, so a total of 22 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton t-shirt on the front, and like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do head to head. First one up will be that 357 Magnum. All right, we're still back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so let's see. Looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1304, so definitely quite a bit underrated. I did test it a while back off cam. We were right about 14, so pretty surprising to see it that much slower. All right, but there is the entry for that one. Looks like I got a really good hit, and just like all the rest, you can see right down in that cavity. Looks like I got a pretty big star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Yeah, check that out. Looks like we got quite a bit of damage going on. Looks like it did carry it pretty much the whole way through that first one. Did kind of settle down a little bit, and you can see it about halfway through that second block. So we definitely got quite a bit of penetration for that one. So let's see kind of stretch we got. It looks like that one's right at about 2 inches. So definitely not the widest stretch for that one, but still pretty good. Like I said, it was about 100 feet per second less than what I would have gotten before. So not sure if it was just that round or what, but anyway, so here it is from the side. Hopefully you guys can see what's going on, but it looks like pretty much as soon as that one came in, opened up really nicely. Looks like it dumped quite a bit of energy there, that first half of the block, and did settle down quite a bit, and then we did make it into that second block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have from the side. And from the side we are, let's see, about 2 1/4 inches, so a little bit more from the side than the top. So definitely not too bad. And then hopefully you guys can see this. There is that round about halfway through that block. It is facing away from us, and at our leading edge we are at about 5.5 inches. So that made it 16.5 inches of total penetration. So definitely really good for penetration. So let's set up for that 10mm and see how that one does. All right, we're still back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so it looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1316. So definitely over what that 357 Magnum was with quite a bit more weight. So it looks like that one definitely edged it out pretty good. All right, so there is the entry for that one. Looks like I got a really good hit. And look at the size of that hole so far. You can see right down in that cavity and a huge star pattern going on. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, check that out. Sorry guys, gotta show you, this guy's going right over us. Super loud, he's the one making all the noise. Anyways, back to it. All right, so here is that cavity. Like, we got some huge expansion going on, tons of disruption there in that gel. Looks like it did pretty much carry all the way through that one, and we did make it into that second block, and it looked like it actually is sitting right next to that 357 Magnum, so quite a bit of penetration for that. So let's see if we can get an accurate measurement. This one is kind of blending with that 357 Magnum, so it might be kind of difficult. Like I always do, I will cut these open here at the end for a cross section, so we can hopefully get a little bit more accurate measurement. But let's check it out here so far. So it looks like at our widest spot, we are just over 3 inches, so definitely quite a bit more than that 357. But you know, pretty impressive for that one. That one usually does pretty good though. I believe rated was 1250, and out of that full size, we usually get quite a bit over that. So really good to see. So let's check it out for here from the side. Hopefully you guys are able to see that decently. But you can see pretty much as soon as that thing came in, it looks like it kind of exploded in there. You can see a couple fragments going on, a huge you know, disruption going through there. It looks like it carried it pretty much the whole way through. Maybe that last half inch or so, it did start to settle down, and then we did make it into that second block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the side. So at our widest spot, they're about 2 3/4 inches. So definitely not as much from the side than the top, but still pretty good. And let's see where we ended up. So it is this one here on the top. That round is facing away from us, and we got quite a bit of penetration. So let's see at our leading edge, we are pretty much exactly the same, 5.5 inches into that second one. So we made it 16.5 inches of penetration for both of them, which is pretty darn impressive. And it's good to see at that 10 millimeter, you know, it's actually packing quite a punch, especially for that commercial load. You usually have to get that boutique ammo to get that kind of a result. But let's check these out one more time from the top. So the one on the right is that 357 Magnum, one on the left is that 10 millimeter. So here is that 357. You can see came in, opened up really nicely, causing quite a bit of damage. Did settle down a little bit towards the end, then we did make it into that second block. It is that round there on the top. And our 10 millimeter, same thing, came in, opened up immediately. Looks like that one is dropping a couple fragments throughout there, but dumping a ton of energy. Then we did settle down a little bit towards the end, and that one is that round on this top. So definitely not too bad. So let's pull these things out and see what they look like. All right, guys, check these things out. Looks like they both got some awesome expansion. So I'm sure you can tell which one is which. One on the right is that 357, one on the left is that 10 millimeter. So here is that 357. Definitely opened up really nicely. Pretty much picture perfect on that one. Really nice mushrooming. Just peel those petals right back, almost all the way to the base of that round. There is still quite a bit of gel still stuffed down in there, but we got some really nice expansion. Even though it wasn't moving near advertised velocity, it still did pretty darn good. And here is that 10 millimeter. This one's a little bit different story. Got some major expansion, pretty much at the breaking point of this one. But same thing with this one, really nice mushrooming. You can see that cantilever lock, it pretty much opened up right to that. There's only one petal left. It did fold right over that base. All the rest of them are pretty much in the gel. I was able to find a couple of them, but like we always do, we'll pull them all out here at the end and rinse these things off, because there's still quite a bit of gel in this one also. But this one got some pretty major expansion. They always do really well with this 10, but really good to see it again, and always a fun test. We'll check these things out one time from the bottom. So the one on the right is that 357 Magnum, one on the left is that 10 millimeter. You can see those couple petals that we're able to capture in that second block, and then all the rest are here in this first one. And last time from the top, like I said, we'll rinse these, get our still shot, slow-mo, all that good stuff here at the end. But there we go, guys. That one was 357 Magnum versus 10 millimeter. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, so there's that cross section for that 357 Magnum. You can definitely see that one did quite a bit of damage. You can see a little bit of that fabric in there. It is black because of the Sharpie that I printed on it. It looks like it did hit it pretty square. So same thing on this side. Really nasty looking section going through. I did remeasure these. They're peaking right at about 2 3/4 and averaging about 2.5 inches. So definitely not the most for, you know, that Magnum, but you know, still pretty darn good. So let's cut it open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom side is the right, this top is the left. So you can see pretty much as soon as that one came in, 1/4 inch or less, started to open up. You can see a nice damage path going all the way through, and quite a bit of fabric that this one did drag in. Like I said, I did I usually mark the fabric with a Sharpie just so I know, have a good aim point, and it looks like we hit this one pretty square. So that's why it is a little bit discolored in there, but we got quite a bit of damage. Some really big splitting and cuts going on. And same thing on this side. So came in, opened up. You can really see that stretch on this one. This side's kind of barely hanging on. It is a little bit thinner of a section, but same thing with this one. Dragging in all kinds of fabric. But definitely showing some nice big cuts and splits. So that one was still pretty impressive, even though it wasn't really up to those Magnum velocities. But there we go, guys. That one was at 125 grain Sig V-Crown. All right, and here's that cross section for that 10mm. So this one definitely got quite a bit more damage going on. You can see these huge splits, pretty much a perfect star pattern going on. You can already see some of that fabric down in there, and looks like a copper pedal, but definitely some very, very big cuts. I did remeasure these, and these are right at about 3 inches. They're peaking a little bit more. Some parts about 3 1/4, but they're averaging about 3 inches. So quite a bit of damage there. So let's cut it open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side, this top is the left. So you can see as soon as this one came in, right at that 1/4 inch mark or less, started to open up and created a huge channel going all the way through. You can see a couple of those copper petals still in there. But man, that is a massive cut for sure, going all the way through. You can see quite a bit of that cotton t-shirt this one drug into. Definitely a pretty wide hollow point cavity, so kind of expected there, but man, that is a ton of damage. And every time I do test these, no matter if it's short or long barrel, we usually get, some pretty decent velocities, usually above advertised, which is good. That's pretty much one of the only commercial loads out there that's, putting out those kind of velocities, proper 10mm velocities. But so here's that top, same thing, came in, opened up. This one you can really tell how big that cavity is. Huge, huge cavity. And same thing with this one, dragging in a ton of that cotton t-shirt and creating a ton of damage. There are some very, very deep cuts. But that is definitely one nasty round. Usually when I'm carrying, the 29, which isn't too often, but when I do it, this is usually what it's stuffed with. Just because I know it's pretty reliable and always does the trick on this gel. So definitely quite a bit of damage. So let's do one more quick angle, just so you guys can see a little bit better what's going on. You can see those huge cuts going right down in that gel. Same thing on this side. This one's kind of barely hanging on. Pretty much already split in half, but that is a ton of damage for that one. So very impressive and awesome to see for that 10mm. So there we go. That one was that 180 grain Sig V-Crown.